I see daycare's back.
Yeah, so we're doing an enrichment daycare service we started offering. Right. So we're capping off at 6 dogs a day for it. And basically each one of those dogs, it's different, right? And so far the people talking about it's definitely been a more positive thing for everybody, obviously. So as opposed to the dogs just being loosely out for 12 hours every single day, we are offering an enrichment day service where your dog is essentially getting a minimum of like 1 hour of 100% dedicated time to them, right?
Yeah.
They're getting walking where they're improving on their walking skills. They're getting training while they're here to improve on their training skills. Okay. They're getting like hand-selected socialization to improve on their socialization skills with their dog, you know? And I think it's going to help both the dogs that are a little bit more difficult, that need that extra eye on them and need that little bit extra control, right, to get them a little bit more mentally engaged, help them progress with their socialization better, and to brush up or tune up on some of their just general training skills while they're here, obviously. And then I think some of the more sensitive dogs that may not be difficult, may not have aggression issues, stuff like that, we could help them open up more by really, really catering those training sessions or social groups to them and their individual needs, and making sure the dogs that we're working them with are going to help them come out of their shell a little bit more. You know, they're not going to get put on the back burner because we have 3 difficult dogs out here that are out at the same time as them that we're constantly needing to micromanage, which is causing that dog to feel like, oh, I'm just going to go hang out off to the side. Like, I don't want any part of this, you know? Instead, that time is just going to be about them, you know?
Okay, are you doing this Monday through Friday, or are you doing certain days?
Monday through Thursday.
Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
All right.
Friday is too busy with boarding and stuff like that with the enrichment services that we're offering them. So it's cool. Yeah, we're only taking 6 at a time to make sure, again, we could give each one of those dogs really, really individualized attention.
Yeah.
And it's been cool so far. Actually, today is the last day of the first week with it, and it's been almost fully booked up every day so far.
Yeah.
So it's been cool.
Well, I mean, that's like such a huge benefit for anyone that has had training with you guys. I mean, it's just such a bonus thing to throw in. Like, hey, we do these enrichment things Monday through Thursday. I mean, if you need any kind of brush up anything,
it's pretty much gonna hit those nails on the head. And I think it's cool because like right now it's we're getting started with it. We're kind of playing around with it and seeing how it goes, which is why we're keeping those numbers so low. We're pretty strict about what we're doing with the dogs while they're here, obviously. But as we continue to grow this, I think we really can start pushing this as like a true tune-up for the dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like right now, it's still just enrichment. It's mental stimulation. I'm not advertising this as like this is going to take all your problems and make them better or anything like that. It's just mental stimulation for the dog. But again, as we start realizing how this is going, we're going to hit a point where I think that we can start advertising it as like, if you're having issues on the walk, this is going to greatly improve on those things.
Yeah.
If you're having issues with your bed commands inside, this is going to greatly improve on those types of things.
Yeah, and I think it's a great thing too if, you need someone else to like work with your dog. If your dog has those issues, it's a good way to keep your dog in tune with working with other people.
100%, like Mary Jo, Kingston's owner, reached out to me yesterday, and she's like, should I start bringing Betty to this, or do you think I should just keep bringing Kingston? Do you think it'd be beneficial for her? I was like, honestly, I think it's going to be equally beneficial to both of them from the standpoint of Kingston is one of those dogs that he would come to daycare, and he would benefit from it, but he would kind of be on a muzzle, and he would just hang out there and be on a muzzle, and that was it, right? It was just because we had so many dogs out, right? It's like we can't supervise him 100% himself, but Kingston in his house is off muzzle with the other dogs all the time, right? We've had him off muzzle in daycare before, and he's cool, right?
Yeah.
So because he's having individual social time, he's going to benefit from being able to open up a little bit more, right? Not only that, but he's going to get a little bit of training time while he's here, right? And then Betty, not that she had issues socially, like she's going to be fine from getting some socialization work, but getting that training time in with somebody different once every other week or something like that with a dog that had some like pretty serious aggression issues, that's going to greatly improve on her ability to start seeing more people as a position of authority. You know, wow, this person is enforcing doorways, and this person is enforcing leash walking, and this person is making me hold bed stays around distractions, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not able to just control it right now. You know? Things like that are going to be very beneficial for a dog like her as well. You know? So I'm pretty excited. We raised the price point a little bit for it. So before, you know, our daycare services always were like $30 a day, or we did like 10-day packages for $280, so like $28 a day. We put a flat rate at $45 a day for this. We're not doing packages or anything because we're doing so many less dogs per week, obviously. Like literally 6 a week, as opposed to before we do like 25 to 30 dogs in a day. So the higher price point obviously allows us to be able to give more individual attention to the dogs. And, you know, this is a lot more specialized of a service that we're offering. You know, again, that individual dog is getting so much more out of it. So I see this, and here's the funny thing, right? Originally, when I raised that price point, I was like, this is going to be something that people maybe do once or twice a month with their dog. You know, come in once or twice a month, get a little brush up, get some additional training time for their dog. We're still finding people are coming like 2 days a week for this.
Really?
Or I should say, I mean, we've only done it for a week, but we've had people say, we're going to bring our dog twice a week to this.
You know, it's really cool because I think just from seeing it personally, like daycare never really, like the standard daycare never really fit the mold.
You know, it was always something that we offered. So what we tried to do originally with daycare was we tried to take this service that everybody was offering, which was just, let's get a bunch of dogs together. Right? And we tried to just say, okay, cool. We could make this fit the mold just by making it client exclusive. Right? But you start realizing as you do that and as you grow, right? Because like originally when we started it, I had mentioned this before on the podcast. When we originally started it, there were so few dogs in our circle, you know, and we knew them so well, and our training staff ran that service, and it was just, we were able to make it however we needed it to be, because it was such a small group. But as it grew, we started realizing, regardless of if we're making this client exclusive, this mold of just throw a bunch of dogs in a room together for 12 hours and like try to make sure none of them get displeased at all is so faulty just by nature, by itself, you know? 100%. It's so unnatural to like create this giant pack that just hangs out together all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And,
you know?
And now it's like, it feels like it has a purpose.
It does, you know? And it's so cool to take, best example of it that I can think of is, so Clark, right? So Clark, the dog that used to go to Heights all the time, right? The dog that bit you on the leg.
Yes. Oh, I remember Clark.
So there's this dog, Clark, right? And listen, he was aggressive, but like, he's a big scaredy cat, you know? Like, honestly, like he's not that bad, whatever, you know? So Clark did a board and train with us, and Clark, before, he used to board with Heights, right? Like, he never had a chance to open up, right? Like, he was kind of like, oh, well, like, he's got issues, and he doesn't really fit in daycare, and, you know, he doesn't really, you know, like, he doesn't really get anything out of boarding because, like, he can't fit in daycare and whatever. He did a board and train with us. We realized he really wasn't that bad of a dog. We realized he just needed a little bit of direction, and he was kind of a little bit of a wimp around new people, right? Which was causing him to act out aggressively, right? And we learned that in really small groups with him, like, he would thrive with the other dogs and would totally come out of his shell. But because he never had the opportunity to do that before, his whole experience with boarding was just basically being scared, right? Like, he never had a chance to open up. He had all these weird people handling him. He was isolated from other dogs and stuff like that. And he never benefited, right? So we started realizing, as we would get him these really small play groups and have that be incorporated with like new people in the play group and stuff like that, he completely 180 came out of his shell, right? Like, he was like the happiest dog with the other dogs. And he would get so excited when he would come in for boarding, and he would get so pumped when new people would interact with him and train with him and stuff like that, because that's the first time that he felt like he was able to communicate properly with somebody and that both parties were on the same page. You know? And again, like this day enrichment service is created for dogs like him, right? Exactly. It's created for dogs like him that need that. Like we're going to focus on Clark right now, right? This next hour is about you, right? And this next hour is about, we're going to get you a nice play group with a couple of other dogs where you're going to really open up and have a really good time and get your like adrenaline and levels up and everything like that. And you can have fun. And then we're going to go for a nice long walk and we're going to work on our training. Then we're going to come back in and work on some bed stays and some down stays with you. You know, and we're going to be connected for this full hour.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to be about Clark.
Yep.
Right. And even if he gets nothing past that, even if it's just that hour, right, that's 200 times more productive than anything else you could do with that. Dog. 200 times more productive than him sitting in a corner being stressed out for 12 hours while 30 dogs are running around him and nobody's interacting with him in a proper way. Nobody's mentally stimulating him and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yep. That's what it's created for. It's for dogs like that.
Yeah. More in an hour than you'll get in a whole day there.
100%.
For sure.
So, and that's the biggest thing I'm really pushing on people is because here's the thing, right? Like outside of that time, we are kenneling these dogs up, right? We're crating them up until pickup time, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to reiterate that point so much to them of how productive just that amount of time is for them because it's about that dog. It's about your dog. Yeah. Right? And it's about productively pushing them along. Where people don't feel it. Because daycare, the issue with common day or with standard daycare, and the thing about standard daycare is it pushes this mentality for people, right? It reinforces this mentality in their head of like, my dog needs to be out doing stuff all the time. All the time. Yeah. Right? And that's not what's going to be happening in these day enrichment services. But it's going to be more beneficial for the dog. We got to get people to believe that point. Yeah. Right?
I mean, I mean, even if you take like a human child, like if you take your kid to the park for an hour and going hard at the playground, what are they doing for the next 6 hours?
Going hard on the bars.
They're sleeping after that. They're going for a nap. You know, it's the same thing with dogs. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Brittany brought Henry to daycare yesterday, or the day before yesterday. And same deal. Like he had his hour or so of time, right? Plus a little bit more. You know, if the dog is very social with other dogs, we could use them in some of the socialization with other dogs. So some of them are getting a lot more than that, obviously. But you know, he came to the daycare and she told me she was like he was like 10 times more tired from that day than any of the other daycare days that he came to, right? Because it was more work for him, right? He got the stimulation, the physical exercise and stuff with the play, but he also got his little noodle worked a little bit.
His little noodle.
Got that little noodle cranking.